We think a lead gen problem is really a reputation and a content and an advertising issue, if you break it down to those components. There he is.
Hey, Dennis. Sorry about that, my friend.
Hey, no worries. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, let me just change my name on here. I'm logged in under a different account. So.
Master Networks, okay.
I don't know if you know Chaz Wilson or not, Dennis, but he owns Master Networks like nationally, and I'm just a partner in the local region for that. So
okay,
he's a good dude, though. Good guy to connect with.
Yeah.
So long time to talk, man. Back in the clubhouse days.
That was 5 years ago.
It's wild.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. It's been a while, man. It's been a while. But I think you actually connected one of my good friends here locally, Zach Faust. Yeah, I think you guys, I don't know if you guys did work together or not, but I know you guys are connected. So how's things going? You staying busy?
Oh, we're making tons of videos and cranking out our SaaS software for personal brand websites, a lot in the home services, as you know.
That's one of the reasons why I reached out. I remember when we were on Clubhouse, you were talking a lot about onboarding VAs and some of the things that were being done, just as kind of like even more trendy thing then, but we've been doing a little bit of that. And I wanted to chat with you because I'm looking at some video editors, some specifics around like social media. So once I looked you back up, I was like, oh, you know what? It looks like he's doing far more than just that these days. So,
well, that's part of it. You got to hire VAs to get stuff done. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually do have a video editor in-house. He's been with me since he was in high school as an intern. But we definitely could use some people on the back end doing more editing so he can keep shooting.
We'll have your video editor scale himself so you can have 3 more of the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So
where's he from?
Right here in Delaware. I said, I got him through a work study program at the local high school, and he was doing broadcasts there at the high school.
Well, good. Then get other young adults in Delaware.
Yeah. Well, that's easier said than done here.
Really?
Yeah, we're a small little community here. I don't know how much you know about Delaware, but there's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot here, which is where the VAs come in. I think that'll be a good support system for whatever content we're able to capture.
Amen.
We've got more salespeople on these days, and I'd love to talk to you about what you're doing more of around the lead gen stuff, stuff to make sure that we're constantly bringing in new business.
Sure. Well, at your service.
Yeah. Well, tell me more about it, man. Tell me more about what you got going on. What is it that you guys offer as a service, rather than me just calling you up and picking your brain?
I think of it as like if you go to the emergency room and you ask the doctors there, so can you make a list of all the surgeries that you do and all the medications that you have and all the kind of equipment that you have? And I can show it to you. It's not like it's a secret.
Yeah.
But, in the emergency room, when people come in, we're here to triage and help them recover, help them become healthy, help them fix the problem. Right. So we have a lot of roofers, for example, a lot of electricians, a lot of landscapers, but we also have, healthcare clients and furniture people, and we've done professional sports teams and all that kind of stuff. But all of them want to be more Googleable. All of them have some kind of, I think as you sort of framed it as like a lead gen problem. But we think a lead gen problem is really a reputation and a content and an advertising issue, if you break it down to those components.
So I agree with you. I will say, I don't know how much you know about Brightside, or at least in our local area. We do, when it comes to brand, like we are, first of all, we're the biggest roofer in our county, and everybody knows us in our county. Outside of the county, definitely a little bit more of an issue. We have definitely far more competitors in those other counties, but at least here locally, we have a very big brand, and we have a great sales process. We focused a lot on our sales process. We have outside sales, inside sales support. We have a very specific sales process that's trained. And so conversion is not an issue. But again, as I'm building our sales team out, keeping them busy with leads continue to be an opportunity for improvement.
So you want to see what to fix? You're coming into our hospital and we're going to do the MRI, take some blood, check your pulse.
Love it.
Right? Okay. This is a very, very common issue, Bobby, that we see. So you have several sites related to Brightside, and then your podcast, and then there's you, which I also see kind of confused, there's Robert Jones and Bobby Jones and all this, right? And you've got all the socials here, right? And so I wouldn't be surprised that you're well known in Delaware, but not outside, because what appears to be is that you have like a lot of door knockers, maybe.
Yeah, we do door knocking as a sales team. Yep.
Okay. So when you have door knockers that get clients and they make commissions, all that kind of stuff, and then you have happy customers that leave reviews, that's the signal that Google's going to be able to see. But there's not enough signal for it to go beyond just that local region, because you've not repurposed the content or generated trust with other businesses that are in Delaware, for example. So
okay,
obviously you rank on brighter side roofing. And the fact that the majority of the traffic out there is brand search. People know your name, right? Roofing Delaware hasn't really come up much. And there's other sort of general roofing related queries when there's storms that come in, all of these commercial, residential roofing types of roof. These ones are not showing up.
Okay.
And so if we look at it at the top level, it's surprisingly you see the orange? It's almost all brand. So are you a glasses half full or glasses half empty kind of guy?
I'm Mr. Brightside, man. Of course I'm half full.
So everything optimistic. So the bright side is that you have an incredible brand. Wow. Almost all the traffic is coming on your brand, on the name. And so we say that there's no problems. There's only opportunities. Bobby, you have an incredible number of opportunities here.
Good.
Right. And this thing is, there's all kinds of things that are broken here with, like these GoDaddy sites that I think you have it down. Where is it? Or maybe that other one's a GoDaddy site. They're missing fav icons. Yes, it's a GoDaddy thing. So
I haven't really messed with this one in a long time. That was like my little influencer thing that was happening, and I kind of leaned into it for a little bit, but I've gotten away from that a little bit. I need to do more of it. The Extra Mile podcast is kind of merging because it's going to be our Brightside podcast. One of our core values is the Extra Mile, so it will come again. Which is, we actually have. I don't know how well you can see it over there, but there's a little studio being built out.
Yeah, I see the mic there. Yeah, this can actually, like, even changing the name and all that will help your business, because look, you have some content, even if it was a few years ago. Mm-hmm. This content lives on YouTube and it is not being repurposed. The fact you have like these customer testimonials and actually as videos, if you were to repurpose this to social media, if you were to boost these things for $1 a day, the thing we teach, like on YouTube and Facebook and even TikTok, this will work on, surprisingly, then it's not because you're trying to go for a ton of views.
Right.
Bobby, you have the raw ingredients, but you've just not repurposed it. And then in fact, the podcast, every one of these videos here is an opportunity to repurpose this into a blog post using AI tools and this kind of thing, right? Even the Clubhouse things that we had from back in the day, I'm having our VAs, we have an army of VAs that are going through all those audio sessions and then using AI tools to turn those into articles that then link to each other. And, when I interview these other roofers or other people in other categories, I can link between these guys, which generates the trust. So you don't have the trust here. I'm not saying you're not trustworthy.
Understood.
From Google's point of view,
you're not going to offend me. It'll take a lot, I promise.
From Google's point of view, these are your links. This is what you got. They're the combined authority of all. These are garbage links. These are spam links. Okay, you can see this, right? These are not real links. Okay.
Yeah.
If I ask, just show me the best links. You have this one from Home Blue.
I don't even know what Home Blue is, but
they're a medium authority site. Someone made a link here to trust Brightside that 301s to the HTTPS. So 301, which is a permanent redirect, does redirect the user. It makes them wait like 3 or 4 seconds because it has to do the extra hop, but it's also only passes partial juice. So you have to fix this one, right? And this was 4 years ago. So imagine, a lot of people in the community, a lot of other roofers, you interview them. You have people on this podcast, 43 episodes and such. Every time you interview somebody, you should turn that podcast into an article and say, I'd love to, Glenn or Josh, hey, I would love to have your VA do it. Have your young high school guy say, I work for Bobby, and he wanted to let you know he was so inspired by what you said about how you were in prison, and there's a picture of you when you're 18 holding your child, and now there's this and that. He was so inspired, by whatever it is that he would love to write. He wanted to write a guest blog post on your blog. Would that be okay? And they always say yes to that, right? And then when you post that as a guest blog post on any of these other people's sites, that creates another backlink that will show up here. The overall authority you have is low. A6 is basically 0, right? It's low. This should be, given everything that I knew about you as a successful roofer, I would have thought you'd be like 25 or 30. But the sum of the power and relevancy of these backlinks is not high enough. Yet ironically, you on the optimistic bright side, you have
content,
tons and tons of this stuff here, but it's just gold that's sitting locked up that no one can see. Google can't see. I mean, I know YouTube's part of Google, but it kind of isn't.
Can you go to shorts?
Yeah.
Just curious.
Everything can be repurposed into shorts. But, as you can see what happens with shorts, is hit and miss. This is how shorts is, right?
Yeah. And
probably because he's not doing the headline to make it obvious. Delaware. Like you have the big text over the top saying Delaware, right? Like, oh, this is for me.
Yeah. All the long form video, all the podcasts.
All that can be chopped up in tons and tons of these.
Moments that can be used.
All day. Yeah.
Yeah. And guys, you're looking at I'm telling you, 15% of the content we have. I'm sitting on mountains of content that never.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
So Bobby, you have content constipation. So what we need to do is hire a few VAs that are supervised by your guy, because your guy is not just a video editor. There's lots of video editors. He understands your brand. He understands where everything is. He can organize. He understands what you can say and not say. He understands your voice. He does the podcast.
Been with me for 5 years. You're right about all
of it.
And
that guy, not you, that guy needs to be a team lead.
Okay.
Otherwise, then now you're managing all these VAs. And that doesn't make any sense.
No. I'll have him do it. He's happy to do it. He's graduate school this year, and he's going to be here. He's going to be working here the whole time.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get him into our training program, and he can join and learn how to do all this stuff, learn how to operate the content factory and all these different processes. Free for him. He can meet, what's his name?
Say that again.
What's his name?
Brandon.
So then Brandon can meet all the other Brandons.
Okay.
And then they can kind of collaborate and talk whatever they want,
Oh, yeah.
And they don't want to hear from me. They don't want Dennis coming in. Dennis is going to come in and criticize.
Understood. All right.
I get it.
So then, and you guys those VAs will also be the ones that post to, or is that something different? Will we still be responsible for, content management, that kind of stuff? Or do you?
The VAs, we believe, should operate. Let me show you here. You've seen this, the content factory. We've talked about this, right? Okay. So you have lots and lots of stuff here, right? I give you an A+ here, right? Lots and lots of content in all different ways, just being locked up. You have constipation. So the VAs are going to come here and process this. The same VAs that are working under Brandon, each of them is going to own kind of a general topic, because then we want them to start to specialize. Maybe one's on the podcast, one's on residential roofing, one's on hiring roofers and marketing and, whatever, right? And it all intersects a little bit, but generally they specialize. And then that VA takes everything horizontally through this process. So that VA that's talking about when should you replace your roof, and what about warranty and insurance, and the hurricane came through, and what about all those topics, all that content, that same person is going to run it process it, run it all the way through your GMB, your Twitter, and your YouTube, and your TikTok, and your website, and all that, cross post, and also run dollar day ads, because they're the ones who best understand the content, because they're the ones that took it through this process to understand how, if you have 50 videos on, being up on the roof and looking at the damage and, whatever, doing quotes, that person will kind of understand, okay, so when we posted this stuff, which ones are performing the best? And then we run ads and we boost it. Which of those ads is doing the best, driving the most leads, the most phone calls, the most referrals, this is the most powerful customer testimonial of all the other ones, not because they're an influencer, but because of the way they said it. And it's because this female one resonated with all the other females. And this one that had a pet, resonated with the other golden retriever owners for some reason, And so they because they understand the content, they can process, post, and promote the content, the same person all the way through, supervised by Brandon, right? And then, of course, this is a set of courses, and we have this thing we call the Academy. And the academy is our learning management system where they can learn how to, process 1-minute videos and build a personal brand, $1 a day, set up tracking, digital plumbing, like all this stuff we have here, right? And they can just go through all this, take the quiz, do the exercises. Everything is exercise, recipe driven. It's not like watch videos for the sake of it. No one has time for that. It's all execution checklist. You do this thing. Now you've equipped yourself with one more checklist to operate, right? There's one on hiring VAs. We have 157 of these things, I think, in here. There's a lot of things, whatever you want to learn how to do. Okay. All these things. So price is free for young adults. The business owners pay.
Understood.
Yeah. The VAs, they get in for free, but whoever hires the VA, they pay.
Understood. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Brandon can come in for free. He can learn all this stuff, meet with Seth Jordan and the other people that are like that. I'm sure those two would have some camaraderie and meet the other. There's a lot of people. We have, he and you should, if you're not already, have you seen our main Facebook group?
No, I'll pull it up on
this one, Digital Marketing with Dennis Yu. Oops. Let's go over here. This one. So we're hiring VAs in here. So you can come in and say, hey, we're going to hire more VAs. You see this, Bobby? We're Parker posted this thing 5 days ago. Hey, last week we hired 6 VAs, right? And then you can hear all these people, talking about VAs, how to do VAs. Other people are, saying good things.
Hey, I know Dave.
Yeah.
I know David.
Yeah. I love Dave. He's come to a bunch of I used to have masterminds at GoDaddy's headquarters.
Oh, nice.
And and he would always fly in, which is great. He'd roll in with his posse too. He'd always rent a black expedition. Like that was the thing he wanted to do.
Yeah. I spoke at D2D-Con, and he was one of the other speakers there out in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke there a couple of years ago, and David was one of the speakers, or he was a vendor. I can't remember what he was doing there, but
yeah, I was on his podcast. We were in Costa Rica. Check this out. So we were in Costa Rica a couple of years ago, JC Heights thing. Oh. And this here, there's Dave and I. That's like at GoDaddy. He was riding the scooters. He thought that was really cool. Right? And where's the other stuff with Dave? Oh, I don't have it in this thing here. I'm gonna add this. So we have. Yeah, he's told all his stories. I mean, you guys have a lot of connections because of like the prison and the hustling and the family and the, making stuff happen. Yeah, we spoke at Tommy's event. This wasn't Tommy's event. No, this is the Costa Rica one. It looked like one of Tommy Mello's events. But yeah, it's just so cool. So like when you have these other people on your podcast and then you can tie them together by who they are, then it's easy to like now I'm remembering these things, Like how cool is that? Being at GoDaddy and that's Isaac Irvine. He runs all the brands, GoDaddy, all the execs and whatnot.
Nice.
Yeah. So Brandon would be the one in charge of your content library.
Right.
And have I even been to Delaware? I don't think I have. Delaware. I don't think I have anything in Delaware. What? Oh well.
Not yet.
You got to come on and visit, you guys. Yeah. Well, yeah, he should be the operator of your content factory.
Which he is already. I mean, he's the one, right now. And this is why I want to take some stuff off his plate. I don't want him editing it as much as he is now. I'd rather somebody else be editing it. That way he can still oversee capturing it. Because, I've got him all the fancy tools and stuff like that to get out there and do it. But one of the things that's really cool, we just bought this building, by the way, and we bought a property. We have a corner spot. We have tons of exposure, more than we've ever had before. Yeah. And I think this year is a year to just really capitalize on that, which is why I'm reaching out to you. And, I think we're primed for a big year. So even with all the labor fears and worries that are happening right now in our industry, we're poised for success.
You're worried about the Mexicans being deported?
I didn't say that. I said my industry's worried about that.
Right. All your people are legal. So yeah, for home services are, that's my favorite category. And I think that'll never go away, even with all the AI and tech.
Yeah, it'll make it a lot easier. It'll make it a lot different, but it will never go away. You're right.
Why do you think Lance Bachman sold his one SEO thing and started buying roofing companies? Right.
Yeah.
That tells you something when the top people in digital marketing are moving they're selling their agencies and doing real estate and roofing and plumbing and you know what I mean?
Listen, private equity, Dennis, I get a call from we get private equity calls all week long. I get 4 or 5 emails a week It's crazy what private equity is doing in the roofing industry. And my buddy, Martin Pettigrew, he owns Monarch Roofing in South Carolina and North Carolina. They got like 7 locations. This dude was training roofers all over the country, wrote a book, sold it for $50 something a book. Pretty good book.
Yeah.
Quit everything and was like, I'm going all back in on my company. We got offers that are going to change my great grandkids' lives. And I'm like, we're really, we're really positioning ourselves in a similar fashion here. So
we have a personal branding package, which is not a retainer. It's a one-time implementation coach with you thing for $5,000, where we will help Brandon organize your content library and hire those 3 VAs. We'll work with onlinejobs.ph and some of these other places and help him use our process on how to hire, train, manage, and get these VAs working in your content factory so that Brandon is no longer a jack of all trades, one-man band trying to do everything. And then you're bringing everything in-house, which is what you should be doing. But we'll help you bring those things in-house. Typically, it takes about 90 days, but sometimes it takes longer for whatever reason, But that's what I would recommend to you. That's how I can help you. And then that creates opportunity for all of our people too. We basically run a nonprofit, Bobby. I don't keep any of the money. It all goes to all of our people. I retired 20 years ago,
Yeah.
This is what I do for fun now.
All right. So with that being said, and I'm sure Brandon has plenty of time on his hands, he is going back to school within a few days, and I'll have him full time. Well, just all day, 2 days a week.
Okay.
Is that enough, or do we need more time from him?
It's a good start. It just depends on how fast he can learn. But if he's giving you 2 days a week, if that's a solid, fully focused 2 days, then we can make that work.
Okay. Well, and the thing is, he probably has more availability, but I'll have to talk to him about that. And it'll be, because I'm assuming it's virtual anyway. So he'll be going through, he could do it from wherever he is what I'm saying. He doesn't have to be here in the office is what I mean.
Right.
So,
and we're all virtual too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But obviously if he's going to be creating content, he can't do that completely virtual because, he's at job sites and things like that. But I'm willing to press pause on that while we get this all set up.
No, I want to do both.
Okay.
Because as he's collecting stuff, as he's learning how we like to collect and process video in the right way, and he's learning how to share it with other team members. It's one thing when you're the one guy doing everything. It's another thing when you have to become a manager and coordinate the work of other people. And then they're new and they make mistakes and we have a QA checklist every time someone submits something, I want him to learn that part too, because I'm sure he's a great video editor and all that. Because for 5 years, obviously he has to be pretty good if you help him for 5 years.
Yeah.
But what we typically see is when people become new team leads, they struggle with that.
Okay.
Even if they're actually really good at video editing and all that, there's what I'm talking about? Like being a business owner, like that's something that's sort of like the question factor. We don't know, but we'll see quickly how he is as a manager, right?
Yeah.
And some people, they're just really good as individual contributors and never should be a manager.
Right.
But if you think he can be a manager, then let's hire VAs that he supervises.
Yeah. I've never really given it much thought. I mean, I do think he could do that. No problem. Obviously I need to talk to him, make sure he's interested in doing that too. Cause being able and being willing are two totally different things. So,
well, also, does he want to scale up what he's doing? Does he want to create other Brandons?
Yeah. Well, see, and the thing is, Dennis, I thought I was going to lose him after school. But lately the conversations have been much more like, let's lean into this, which is one of the reasons why I can even have this conversation with some confidence here is because he's willing to stay on board after school and go to work. So, all right.
I mean, it's one thing to be a high school student and you do it kind of for fun and this kind of thing. But now when you graduate school and now it's a real thing, then we have to prepare a real job path for him so that he can make more money, right? If you don't, I'm not saying you do or you don't, but there needs to be a clear path for him to be able to win.
Right.
And that's on you.
Yeah. Well, and again, up until recently, I had no reason to believe because, he had always communicated that he was going to do X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
And so this had always been viewed as more of a temporary thing, although lately the conversation's starting to evolve. Yeah, I think this is definitely doable. And the $5,000, does that include the clubhouse discount? No, yes, no.
So that's already a discount because it has me, but you never go to the surgeon and say, I'll give you a discount if you want, but whenever I get services from other people, I want
teasing, Dennis. I'm teasing.
Yeah, I want the best. apologize.
No, you're good.
I want to give you one thing for Brandon to share with him, because obviously we need his buy-in.
Yeah.
This thing to work. So we have this thing that we call the 3x3 goal sheet, and it's blitzmetrics.com/mygoals. And so here I basically explain like, what are SMART goals? Like, I want to make $1 million. That's not a SMART, it has to be specific, measurable, accountable, it has to have steps to it. It has to, we need to make sure it's realistic because there's a real plan. So we want to know, what are his goals? And most employers never do this. Most employers are like, okay, here's your job and you're the, cog in the wheel. And so this template goes into your 3x3 goals. And this is something that we do a lot, but most people don't do for some reason. Dave Carroll likes this. Yeah. So imagine, like, we want him to succeed, not just professionally as the video editor, where he's gaining skills and building a team and becoming a manager and showing that he has greater impact. And yes, that's all good. That's good for Brightside, right? But maybe personally and physically, maybe he wants to learn a new language, or maybe he wants to get married, maybe he wants to live in, move out of his parents' house. I mean, whatever it might be, right? And so we like to have this 3x3 grid because they're personal, physical, professional things, and they're short, medium, and long-term goals.
Understood.
And I think it's for the employer typically to tell these young adults, hey, I know initially you're starting out with me, but I'm here as a long-term player. I care about your success so that you stay with me. And so I want to know what your goals are. Because then if I'm in alignment with your goals, then we can make different adjustments or put different incentives in place or whatever, so that it's not like I'm the boss and you have to do exactly what I'm telling you to do. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Someone who works for you isn't going to have the foresight to think like, okay, how do I structure my role with Bobby and Brightside? Because they're not thinking about how do you build a system around these things, right? How do you advance? Like, because then when you have this, then you can start thinking about, okay, now we're both on the same team trying to achieve that goal. So your goal was you wanted to buy that Ford Mustang, and it's 45 or what, Tesla Model Y, whatever. And it's $40,000 and you need to save up this much, whatever, because in a year you want to buy that Model Y. Okay. How are you doing towards that goal? I might ask Seth, oh, you want to buy the Model Y. How are you doing towards that goal? Right. And then that tells him I care. Right.
Yeah. I mean, and you're totally right, because we do this with our team a lot. But again, given the specific role that he's been in this temporary part, like this thing, this idea of it not being a full-time vision, we haven't done any of those exercises. So
but now it is. Now it's a real thing.
Yeah. Big time. So yeah, I love that, Dennis. I mean, listen, I'm really happy to have had this conversation because, again, I've been, we had some VAs for, I think it was 2 years ago. It was through onlinejobs.ph, and they did good work for us. We got away from it, and then trying to onboard back on new people has been a nightmare. And so I trust that, I can do this with you guys, and I have to go through that. And so that brings a lot of value. And of course, this kid, Brandon's a good guy. And if we can develop him and build with him, I think that would be a great move. And so I like all of that. Let me chat with him and figure out what he sees for the future here. And if we can get a commitment quickly, I'll make sure it happens.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm excited. Let us know what he says.
Heck yeah. Thanks for taking the time. Sorry about the confusion earlier, man. I don't know what the heck I was.
No, but I get the time zone thing mixed up too.
Yeah. So the other company, they're headquartered in Dallas. So I always pay attention to time zones, and I just didn't have this time. So
yeah. That's cool. We still got to connect. And you got to meet Seth, which is awesome too.
Oh, pleasure.
Seth is like a Brandon too.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't talked to Brandon. I think I could level with him for sure.
And Seth hiring VAs. And everyone's hiring VAs.
Yeah, it's the right move. I wish I could hire some VAs to do roofing for me.
We could eventually. Elon will have the robots. The Optimus robots will be,
at some point. I went ahead and joined the group here, the digital marketing with Dennis Hughes. So I'm in there, and I'll get back to you real shortly, Dennis.
Cool. Awesome, Bob. We'll talk to you soon.
Seth.